first task for the panel. Did we get the order right? Looks
Yes,
like.
we did.
Yes, amazing.
I was leading, so that was easy.
Awesome, awesome, great. So as Eva said, our topic, we're mixing things up with the panel here, but we have a really exciting topic. So building the foundation for AI native commerce. So as we know, the market noise around AI and recent launches makes one thing clear: AI will soon be everywhere. I think we've already heard a lot about it today. But our view at IONA is that what actually is going to differentiate the leaders is, surprise, surprise, being composable enough to take advantage of AI and agentic commerce. It's really, in our view, about building an architecture where brands can plug in AI with flexible APIs effectively, and then also having structure and good data to bring the benefits of AI into to the business. So let's start off with our first question. Maybe to start with you, Julia. So what early in-production use cases are you seeing in your business, experimenting with or making real today?
Thank you, Scott. So, we heard whole day that it's difficult to make any P&L impact with AI, so I'm going to prove you wrong. Yes, you can, and I have 3 cases. Number 1, first you have to go with me on a bit of a journey. Personalization. Oh yeah, there, I went there. Personalization with AI. Think of Gigantti website, that is our brand here in Finland. Okay, everyone is imagining Gigantti, Elkjøp, Giganten. You see the front page, you see that carousel that says, products for you, right? You can say super deals, is look at this, the best offers of the week. Are you there mentally? Do you see a carousel? Very good. The one part, something for you, that's actually AI. That's deep learning algorithms finding out based on your behavioral data, what could we recommend to you? And now you might say, okay, Julia, that is not so impressive stuff. Is that all you do in personalization? Well, let's start with number 1 fact. Attractiveness rate of those carousels where AI has been looking into your behavior and saying what you should see instead of we trying to push you shit is 24%. Normal carousels around 12-14%. So you can already say in good mathematics, this is already quite good, right? Then it gets even better. There's 21% more likelihood that people actually add things into basket from those recommendations, and whopping 44% more average basket size value. Woohoo! That means a lot of money, and yes, P&L impact. Number 1 case, checked. Number 2, NPS, customer satisfaction, is the most important KPI for us in Gigantti and in Elkjøp overall. And we are very lucky, customers talk to us, okay, around 40,000 feedbacks every month in 4 different languages. So even for Finn like me, it's difficult to incorporate all that, and we want to hear from customers, and we are prioritizing our backlog based on that feedback. So AI has helped us also get that feedback together, make sense of it, and help us to do good technical choices also. When we change our platform, for example, we use customer feedback from countries and find out what really sucks with our platform, which was checkout. Yes, that's where we should start. You are absolutely right. And there we did most of the changes. So that's number 2. Use AI to fix NPS feedback for yourself as well and start using it in everyday life. Number 3 is the obvious one in marketing. Everyone is using that, making product texts, making articles, making sure that long tail SEO, everything is also there and fixed. And of course, we are working a lot now already getting schemas in place and working with large language models in practice. And there I see higher conversion rates than in our normal. And what's key to all this? Relevancy. So, like said, common sense. So those were 3 cases. And,
amazing. It's quite a bit. You guys are already quite a ways along in your journey with bringing AI into the fold.
Yes.
Morten, maybe to you next. What sort of early use cases are you seeing at Bluestone?
Well, I've been on stage with Julia before, so I don't expect to talk much because that
will not happen. No, this was my question. After this, you can get all the spotlight, Morten, I promise.
She's got this covered. Well, from the PIM side, of course, we have a lot of different AI tools incorporated into the platform. So the obvious long-hanging fruits that are out there with translations and enrichment and also analysis and now an agent to work in the PIM. But so far, we've been talking about just picking low-hanging fruits. The real impact of AI is yet to come. I think, yeah, definitely that. And also, I see a lot of people just looking at each other, and I think that that's fine. This is very early stage, and no one has got this figured out yet. Yeah, those are some practical things that we've done, and but the best is yet to come, I think.
That's a great point. Yeah, it's totally okay not to know all the, all the use cases are coming down the line. There are a lot of low-hanging fruit to bring to bear to start with. Mark, your view on what you're seeing in terms of early use cases?
Yeah, sure. So we have quite a global approach to what we have here at Constructor, and because we have a native AI platform utilizing an e-commerce large reasoning model, what it's allowing our customers to do is really experiment into these AI applications. But what we're seeing, because of our composable setup within our product, it allows them to look at these in different multifaceted approaches, but roll them out incrementally. So we have got people in the US right now are using like PDP assistance on very considered purchases, where typically they're like $2,000 for an item. It's not something you just go on and convert. So you really truly need to understand the nature of the product. And what we're finding is they're engaging with that PDP assistant, really fine-tuning and understanding what they want from that product, and then converting in a much faster and a higher rate. So that's just like one example. But what we're also seeing is then they're looking at it in different channels. So whether this is put into an app and being rolled out before it then goes wide scale, testing it with an engaged audience. So that's just like one of the examples we're seeing rolled out.
Okay, great. And maybe if we continue with you, Mark, and with our next question, how do you balance AI experimentation with governments and customer trust?
Yeah, so kind of leaning off the back of that, what we've found is that people, when they're experimenting within these components, doing it with their really engaged audience has been the best way to test bed this. So if you've got a strong segmentation data set, and looking at those VIP customers, high AOV, and actually saying and engaging with them to say, look, we're rolling out a potential new experience. We want you guys to try it because you're our loyal customers and we know you're looking to see the value from it, as opposed to people coming on and just trying to break it. Like the conversations we have early doors are, people are very scared about guardrails because the last thing they want is somebody coming on site, probing it, trying to get silly answers, which these people are never going to buy from you, but they want to get a nice answer, post it on the internet and say, look what this person's recommending to me. It's telling me to do something that I really shouldn't be doing. And that's what we've seen is that incremental rollout. So actually, they can test it with people that are engaged with you and actually looking to buy, and then giving you that circular feedback to improve and enhance in the journey.
Thanks. Julia?
Yeah, I'm totally with you that you should not get AI hallucinating on your page. That's not good. I can tell you immediately one bad experience we had last year. We tried to make a gift assistant, God forbid, with AI, and we have quite many SKUs online. So yeah, it was not those kind of recommendations that we would like to see. It wasn't ready, and that's why I think it's very important, like you said, experiment, test with the users, and really see where you are at and what makes sense. Because in the end, you want to help customers, not confuse them more. And yes, you have to be friends with compliance and legal. Yes, you have to go there, you have to get policies in place. So we don't use AI in any kind of way that is not approved by compliance. So we are working very closely with our legal team to check all the use cases that we have done with AI. We make sure that we mark the data that we use and that we use consent properly. I don't want to end up in jail anytime soon. So do check that. And it's very important to have some structure and policies in terms of how you use AI, how you mark it on the website. Customers must know if content has been produced by AI. They have to know it. So I think it's the totality of making that infrastructure. And there you also have to break those silos. You need to make sure that the teams are communicating what tool are you using, what data are you using, and if someone comes suddenly and asks you from a data privacy office in any country that, hey, how you have been using it, you have to be able to show that you have had that approval. So even though I know it has been a bit cumbersome in some of our processes to go to compliance, try to explain the business case, try to explain what we're experimenting with, it is worth it. Because then it's documented, you know that you are following the group policy and you're also following data legislation, which is with the EU Act, for example, really, really important. So I think that's a key. Be friends with legal.
Not always easy, but very important.
Very important.
Morten, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I was thinking that keeping the human in the loop is important with AI. I think that one of the biggest challenges we're facing now is that AI is very capable of doing stuff. So when you look at all these softwares that we have, we're changing the way we use them. Like before, everyone had like a UI, and when it became too complex to use, you immediately you understood that, okay, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to press this button because this is like a complicated thing. Now with AI, that changes the whole way you use it, and you might not even understand what you're doing. And you might make really bad changes without even understanding what you're doing. So keeping that human in the loop sort of also is important, at least in the early stages, the next couple of years, until we implement, I guess, AI guardrails, self-healing, self-adjusting.
Yeah, we're very much early days in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
But Morten, maybe if we stay with you for our next question, why is Composable actually the quote-unquote moat for agentic AI adoption?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a story there. I was hosting a workshop at the MACH in London last week, and we were talking about, this is going to be a little bit nerdy, but we were talking about MCP servers and how to implement them, and the fact that everyone now is just doing one-to-one mapping of on the API endpoints instead of making MCP tools, which is the way you're supposed to do it. Anyways, we were discussing this, and there was this one guy in the audience who said that, well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it doesn't work. I've tried it. And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean it doesn't work? You mean it doesn't scale? It works, but it's not like it's a fancy party trick to do MCP that way instead of implementing the tools. What are you talking about? Well, I don't like it breaks. It doesn't work. And I was like, why? Because I don't have the endpoints in the background. And I was like, oh, so you're not API first. You're not Mac. You're not composable. You have a problem. The foundation is screwed before you start. So yeah, that is like, for me, a big, well, that is the evidence, the smoking gun, that you need to be composable at heart, or in order to even make this agentic journey that is coming. Yeah, so that was just
integrate if you don't have the endpoints.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So then you have to create the endpoints, and it's a whole different story.
Julia?
Yeah, otherwise it will be the end, you were going to say. Haha, some Finnish humor. No, I think, Morten, you had your moment there. We heard today that, without MACH, without composable structure, there's no AI. And I think Holly showed very good stats also, that is now you will fail without it. So I think I will not try to be saying anything else to that, except that we've seen it in practice, that having composable infrastructure and making sure that our systems understand and use data similarly, because in the end it all boils down to that. Now when you talk about AI agents, it's also a client, and it also will need the fuel, the schema, is it data, you still need to fuel them somehow. So in order to make that happen, you have to have infrastructure that caters for that, exactly like you say, Morten. It's like, that's otherwise it's very difficult to have a playground, to Lap's presentation just now. So we have seen in practice that Composable is enabling us to do AI first journeys. So yeah, you have to just trust me.
Yeah, I think we've kind of seen it within the vendor space as well, where if people want to deliver these use cases, the composability allows you to do it in an incremental fashion, as opposed to going 100% interoperability with this. It allows us to develop those use cases at scale to then start adding more on. And also adapt. Yeah, the world is changing rapidly. Like, we're seeing new endpoints come out all the time, new protocols. I mean, everyone's seen all the recent GPT checkouts that are going on. How does a vendor adapt for that if they don't have an underlying architecture that is composable and API first? Getting to market with that is going to take a lot of time. Yeah, as a vendor, we've been delivering that. We're not making a big splash on it right now, but it's coming. And we wouldn't be able to do that if we did not have MACH philosophies under the hood to then deliver to retailers alike.
Great. Okay, we started to touch on our very exciting next question that we're actually going to have some interactivity here. So where you're all welcome to join and share your thoughts. Please do. We need a biggest sample size possible here. But our next question, and this is exciting because we're really going to get into our views about the time horizon on this. So when do you think agents will start negotiating and executing across the commerce stack? For example, pricing, payments, customer requests, fulfillment. We'll start with you, Morten.
I think almost the audience should answer before.
Okay. Well, let's give it a moment. We'll pause for a moment. Let me also.
Oh yeah, now Morten said this.
We'll give it a moment, and I'll read the options that are there on the survey. So we have within the next 12 to 24 months, the next 2 to 4 years, longer, i.e., more than 4 years, or the very controversial, never. And we were, joking earlier that if you think it's never, then this might not be the right place.
You can just stand up and leave. Yeah. It's okay, we understand.
But maybe, Morten?
Yeah, if you say never, I'm going to take your badge. I mean, it's already here. That is the thing. In the US now, Amazon has a pilot project called Buy For Me, which is in the first stages of an agentic tool that will buy a product for you if it's not. I think it's not that it's not available at the moment. It will just find it somewhere else at a later stage, and then it will just appear at your doorstep. So the point is that this is already here, right? And you already see. Just talked about the GPT launch with Shopify, where we see buy buttons and stuff like from the big vendors. It is
solidly in the 12 to 24 month.
Solidly in the 0 to 12.
0 to 24 months.
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking. Of course, there is a bigger picture here. It's not going to change overnight. It's in some ways it's also a fancy party trick, right? The buy button on ChatGPT. I'd like to see that scale for Black Friday. Like, how's that going to work, right? So it's early stages, but it's coming. And I'm just going to tell another story. My dad actually drove me to the airport yesterday, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I said, "I was going to Finland to talk about AI." And he said, "Well, that's cool. I don't know anything about it, but I was using AI last night because I was trying to find some locks for the cupboard in his sailboat. It's a Finnish sailboat, Nordic, right? Or how do you say it? Anyways, so he found these locks for his cupboards, and I was saying, what would you do if you had a buy button when you found those?
Was he ready?
He would have pressed the button, of course, and But so my point is, like, this guy is in his 70s. Like, why?
Yeah.
This is changing, and it's changing now.
Yeah.
Right. So if the buy button was there, it's not there yet, but it will be. He would have skipped all web shops, everything, and just used ChatGPT.
Because I think that's part of the question is when are we gonna see it at scale, and is there a kind of a trust barrier to actually tell the agent to make the purchase?
Yeah, I must say, I didn't like you say skip web shops. Where did you get No, but seriously, I love that, Morten, you get your screen time too, but where are AI agents getting that data, if not from the web shop? You still will have to have your data from somewhere. And I think that is the most important, because this question is quite two-way loaded, right? Because like you say, in US, they're already ready. The AI agents, they can already go and do it. But are we ready? Are the retailers ready? Are you ready in the audience? So I think that, whatever whatever we have learned today, it takes a long time to do this composable journey. It's not done by night. And I don't think anyone of us is 100% ready if you think about the whole stack. We have been on composable journey also 5 years now, and still there are some parts that are very much not headless. It's more like headless chickens running around. So it does take time. So I think that's why I'm being more pessimistic. I'm like you, Morten, I would like to say that we would be there ready between 0 to 12 months. Yeah. But I think in order to get your stack ready so that you can be fully on to be participating in that AI play, it will take more from 2 to 4 years, I would say. I'm realistic.
You're in the 2 to 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Realistic, Finn.
Okay.
But the question is, will start?
Yeah, well, it starts already now, and that's what I'm saying. It's too loaded question.
Yeah. Agree to disagree.
Mark?
I think the scale thing's interesting, because I remember you said the never bit, and I was the person that said we do need to add that, because we've been through these journeys before, because if we believed the hype, we'd all be sat in the metaverse having this conversation right now. And that's kind of come and gone, and that was meant to be the whole thing. So does this scale that we have full wide adoption, covering all the data governance pieces, making sure we're protecting brand identity, that could be the real blocker. But we are seeing it happen right now, but there's a fundamental shift and change that needs to happen. Like if we look at our data sets and how people are engaging with websites, they're still pretty much the same. Like people aren't making long-tail conversational queries at scale. It's still very one-word, two-word keywords, and I'm sure you see that in your data set. So it seems a long way away at scale if we've still got that kind of behavior going on. That being said, things are moving quickly, and I think we will start to see a segmentation of adoption in the next kind of 12 months.
So I'm going to hold you, to the answer. So you're still in the 12 to 24 month range.
Incremental.
At scale. At scale.
It depends which geo as well. But, but yeah, I think we'll start to see some adoption in the next 12 to 24 months.
Okay. Well, hopefully everybody's had time to go and select. We'll come back to that later. But we'll move on to our last question here for the panelists. And Julia, maybe we'll come back to you. So does this shift towards AI mean that the purchase logic for platforms and solutions actually flips so that you're selecting for AI readiness rather than the current feature set?
You know, here we also have a bit of a balance. I would love to say yes. We are looking into immediately the absolute future roadmap, and we are getting ourselves ready to be there to meet that. But there's also some realism in this. So we have seen also that might be that we have a supplier that is way ahead where the rest of the organization is. And you have to think of the whole stack and what fits to your full stack. You know, everything has to fit together. So I think it's very important that you select supplier that, again, the answer of Simon Sinek, right? The why are you doing this? What is the purpose? And how complex you want to make it? And you have to remember also what type of business rules, what kind of business you are in. What is your business case that you are making? You should never buy technology for technology cases. Like if it's fancy, great. It has to, of course, be future-proof, but it has to be able to provide business value also there and then. And we are at least in our processes, and we have been changing many parts of our stack. Also now looking into, for example, parts of on the front end, starting with search, looking into checkout. There's quite many parts that we are changing, which Composable Commerce is enabling us to actually do in this way without big bangs anymore. And we are looking into for those suppliers, like who has that mindset, has that technology, who is actually really truly MACH first, that they could change with us. So they don't have to be exactly there yet, but they have to be able to grow with us to the journey. So it's so
the possibility is important. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And Morten, are you leading with AI readiness, or is it still all about features?
Well, the question was about if there is a flip there with the way when we started to argue about this already, right? You know, I said
discuss
this that the web shop is dead. Well, it's not, but you know, I think we see signs of major shifts on how commerce and how the act of purchasing is happening. I think that the experience itself is going to be vastly different. Like I said, my dad would have bought that thing if he had the chance, and it would skip every normal channel that you. And I think we will see a lot more of that, and that's just a fact, and we have to deal with it. Yeah.
Mark?
I mean, look, we've seen this shift already. There's a lot of organizations that now have AI teams, so that completely changes the engagement, whether it's working with those AI teams, potentially delivering some of it for them, and how it works in conjunction with us. So we've already seen that aspect. Therefore, though, there is actually a bigger focus on not just the here and now, and that is quite key. We've got organizations that are completely different levels of digital maturity. So going in and talking about an agentic future with organizations that are very far away from that, that doesn't make sense. We need to be able to facilitate their needs for now and take them through the journey. But effectively what we are seeing more is the roadmaps are being scrutinized a lot more, but a bit more of a pragmatic approach in the fact that we're not getting as many of the questions of what does your 10-year vision look like? Most people recognize that that's quite a long fallacy to try and predict. It's more looking at, right, what does the next 6 to 12 months look like? Are you ready to actually adapt if there's a fundamental change in the landscape? And can you support us getting to market? Because sometimes it's not necessarily delivering the best experience. It's sometimes getting there faster right now, and then fine-tuning it, enhancing it, and being perceived to be a forward-thinking organization and executing it, going through that journey. So it has changed, and it's changing a lot more, but we've just got complete different levels of the scale.
Can we ask the audience here, how many of you have AI teams? Just, I'm actually curious, how many of organizations have a separate AI team running?
Few hands.
Very good.
Many.
Yeah, still, yeah. Yeah, it's... interesting.
Changing. Yeah.
To your point, yeah.
And I lied earlier. It wasn't our last question.
Yeah.
Maybe the most important question still to come. And Morten, maybe we'll end you and your thoughts. So what do you think is the single most important thing to focus on when seeking to build a solid foundation for AI native commerce?
I think just to realize that the shift is coming, and you have to start some way or form. You have to also realize that like I said earlier, we've been just picking the low-hanging fruits when it comes to AI from the technology side. Within the next, I guess, 12 months or something, we will probably see like a major adjustment when it comes to, or an AI bubble, if you will. But that's a financial thing, right? It's not a technology thing. From the technology side, the best is yet to come when it comes to AI. Like, we're just scratching the surface. It's going to change everything. And so that is my... If you haven't started the journey, please do. And it starts with education of people, educating yourself, trying to figure out where you can make the most impact, and talk to your vendors, because they should have a pretty clear AI strategy, and if they don't, you shouldn't have them as a vendor. Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah, sure. Big statement is just to not get lost in the noise. There is a lot of noise out right there. Every day there's new publications coming out around AI. And I think when you're looking into your vendor sets and how your journey's going, is really looking at truly who is AI native versus who's got good marketing. And we're seeing more and more vendors on the space, which makes your journey a lot harder. And then it's just validating those data claims. Like, there was something I had a debate with the other day about someone that was talking about some big AI data point. And when you actually go back to the source of where that claim came from, they made it up. And that just makes life very hard. The ability to actually just sit there and reflect on these data and truly analyze these claims and what's actually happening is the difficult part. So don't get lost in the noise. Just do take your time, but also have that forward-thinking approach.
Great. And Julia?
Yeah, to wrap it up, shit in, shit out, folkens. There's no hocus pocus in AI as well. So you have to make sure that you have data in order, right? And the data has to be structured, and it really takes time to make it happen, and how you utilize that data through different systems. Like we saw in one use case today on the stage, if your systems are not talking together and not sharing data, God forbid you have bad product data, then you are screwed. Then Morten is true, then you are kaput. So there's no more e-com store for you. You have to make sure that those basics are done, and you have to start there. You have to clean it. You have to make sure that you have the consent to use it. You have to make sure that you're collecting the right data. So swimming in your data lakes is not going to really solve the thing, right? We are not in a summer cottage in midsummer now. You need to make sure what data actually helps you to make better, to deliver better business and customer value, because those two things are the same. So you have to be really conscious what data you collect and how you use it, where you give AI more freedom, and where you still need to make sure that you are following your promise and being the trusted advisor, right? So it's all boils down to data. So think about data when you think about the customer, think about schemas when you think about virtual assistants, and then it's already half work is done. Let's just see the numbers grow. Yes, also data.
Amazing. Thank you. So that's it. I'll thank you to all of our panelists. I think super exciting. We'll come back to the results of the survey later. And thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Scott, Morten, Julia, and Mark. That was a great discussion. Does anyone from the audience have any more questions for our panelists? Yeah.
Good afternoon, panel. In the advent of AI, do you think retailers, purchasers, manufacturers will become reliant just in terms of purchasing AI through your products that you are selling, because there is still a risk associated with it as opening the back door to cyber attacks if we build our own AI?
Who wants to take that one?
I'll take a stab at it. But so you said that there is a risk for cyber attacks. Is there a risk for cyber attacks? So I think that it's important to also look at all the possibilities you have with using AI. So you can use AI within the platforms, right? But you can also, like Bluestone, we have an agnostic approach. So we're actually proxying to your own AI models. That means that compliance, security, and everything is taken care of by yourselves. And that is like a really compelling way of doing it. And now with the growing context windows, we can do the sort of the RAG CAG training we did before. We could do with ICL on the fly instead, which makes that possible. So there are a lot of technical possibilities out there that makes it easier to comply with security and compliance and all these things. So I'm really hopeful, and I think we'll solve that.
But I must say it's a very relevant question, because we see the cyber attacks increasing a lot. So it's not anymore just Black Friday that we get DDoS calls. It's constant. So you have to make sure that you have a partner, an IT department, to make sure to have you protected. And it's getting more and more difficult. So we from the business side are, of course, very much reliant on the IT and our suppliers to make sure that happens. But we monitor and we help to monitor. So we have some tools on the front end that help IT also see the frustration of customer, that then translates that maybe there's an actual attack. So we also collaborate on how to gather the data to know that you're being actually under attack and what is attack, and how you make sure that the site doesn't go down and you can fix it beforehand. But it is a scary trend, and our whole infrastructure, I think, has been in the past weeks. You see with AVS problems and what's been happening, it's much more fragile and vulnerable than before. So
yeah, and I think we've seen a bigger ask, especially in the UK market. There's been some very high-profile attacks recently, which has almost taken out some retailers right now, which is really difficult. What we've now found is that we're being scrutinized a lot more by the security teams on making sure we have got our compliance aspects, and actually it's a non-compete in an evaluation if you don't have your ISO accreditation, SOC, whatever it might be. So we're seeing a greater scrutiny on that to make sure that those vulnerabilities aren't exposed.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yeah, there.
In manufacturing business and B2B, there's a lot of product syndication going on and a lot of, EDI stuff that is standards from the 70s that are still used. Do you think the protocols that we are now seeing, like MCP and agentic stuff, could help with these things? Because there's a lot of, I work for a manufacturer and we need to do like tailor-made integrations to a lot of distributors and resellers of our products. So do you think these new protocols might help, or the agentic stuff?
It's
Yeah,
it's going to change everything. I'll give you an example. Even though Mikko hates Shopify, I connected to the Shopify MCP server and connected to the Bluestone MCP server, and I said, please take the taxonomy from the Shopify storefront and all the products and copy to Bluestone PIM. And it started working. Of course, it was not scalable, fast, yet, and it was also, even when it hit trouble, it jumped into our documentation to try to figure it out and came back and continued working. So, it just shows what's going on now. It's going to change everything how we work, but it's going to take, even though I'm very bullish on AI, it's going to take years until we get there with scale, but definitely. It's going to be a big change.
Where should a manufacturer start? With the product data syndication through MCP?
Well, you should start preparing for that, right? You should start preparing your data for that, and also your systems, your backend systems, that they can handle that, and your PIM definitely it needs to be able to handle that. So. Yeah, that is the direction we're seeing. But I don't the batch update or the bulk updates are still going to have, this is a big thing. I see the red going boom, boom. Just, I can keep going for 10 minutes on this topic. Let's take it off stage. But yeah, it's exciting and definitely a thing.
I think you two have a coffee date.
Yeah. It is a lot to talk about.
Yeah, but thank you to our panelists. Now we actually have our final coffee break. So please take this time to visit any partners you haven't connected with yet, and we'll be returning here at 2:30 p.m. for our final 3 keynote sessions. Thank you.